All right, hello. So I just wanted to kind of share something that is very useful for me when it comes to like, what am I supposed to do with all of these from the market? Or you go, because you go to the farmer's market and you get like kind of crazy with the vegetables. Let me tell you something. When you go to the farmer's market, you are buying directly from the source. In other words, these farmers are making their money, breaking their backs to provide this incredible food for you that is not processed, that is not packaged. You know, most people bring their own bags to the farmer's market, and there you go. It's the food. So I got some kale, and I also have kale growing in the garden. But what I want to do is talk about how do you process some of these vegetables. Kale, for example, if you can't get to your kale, put it in a Ziploc bag, put the Ziploc bag in another bag, and put it in the freezer. Don't let it go bad, because here's what you can do with it. Later down the road, like in the winter time, when it gets a little warmer and you start wanting to make more broth or buy broth or however you do it, you can chop that kale. You can almost crunch it up into the broth, and you've got kale in your broth. It's amazing. So don't throw it away. You could even chop it small, but I like to just keep it big and then just put it in a couple of Ziploc bags. Why put two Ziploc bags? Because that kind of helps to avoid freezer burn. You can put a little date on the Ziploc bag before you put it in there, just so you know which ones are the oldest. But yeah, kale, you can do that. You can do that with beet greens. A lot of the times the greens come on the beets. You can eat that. If you can't get to it right away, take it all the way down to the stem. The stem's what has good stuff in it. That's like eating the blood or the marrow of the plant. So you can do that. I like to, even instead of just taking the leaf off of the beet, I like to just cut that rib, the stem, like really, really small, tiny, tiny, tiny. And then it's like little pieces of celery, or, it's just wonderful, easy to eat. And you can also freeze that. You can freeze it before you cut it or freeze it after you cut it. So eat those beet greens. Some people aren't super into them because they're not as tender as other things, but you can mix them with celery. Well, you can mix them with celery. You can mix them with spinach. That way, sort of some of the bitter greens, some people aren't quite used to eating them. So if you don't, really like them a lot, but you should eat them, mix them up with things that you enjoy, even if it's, romaine lettuce, nice organic romaine lettuce, or at the farmer's market, you can often get head lettuce or bib lettuce. It's incredible. So yeah, just like mix it with stuff that you enjoy. And try it, if I like to cut it in tiny little, just take my knife and just cut it in tiny little strips, add olive oil to it, and just kind of let it marinate with some salt and pepper. You might like onions in it. You might like garlic or garlic powder in it. That kind of thing is great to like put into another salad where you're using romaine lettuce. So that's another way to do it. And I wanted to just encourage you, one of the easiest things to make is kale chips. So if you go to the farmer's market, you buy some kale, or if you grow it in your yard, it grows prolifically. It's so fast the way it grows. You can take it and cut it into big pieces, toss it in olive oil, let it marinate for a couple hours. Keep like taking a spoon and just turning it, and then lay it out with that olive oil on there. Put some salt and pepper on it, put turmeric on it, put oregano, thyme, whatever you like. You can even take a little bit of the olive oil and add, some curry paste into it. And so then gives it kind of this nice curry flavor. Of course, you could put sriracha in it. Just take a little of that into your olive oil so that it distributes easily and evenly, and just put that on there. Doing all kinds of that stuff is makes it easy. And who wants to run their oven in the hot summer? Really nobody. So one way of getting around that is, maybe run it in the morning, toss it in the nighttime before you go to bed, let it kind of sit overnight, and then, turn your oven on early while it's still cool. I'm going to sneeze. Just thinking of pepper makes me sneeze. Pepper and turmeric are a great antioxidant. Pepper really helps your body to absorb the turmeric. So, ideas of what to do with the kale, roasted vegetables of any kind are the jam. You can take them and roast them, and then you can put small amounts of them onto your salad, and they just give your salad this sort of this succulent, sort of delicious thing to it. I love to roast, for example, beets and sweet potato. And sweet potato, those are things that are kind of high in carb, but just do a little bit of it. You're still getting these amazing benefits of the vitamins. You don't have to eat the whole sweet potato. Just take a little quarter of a cup and toss it in your salad. It's just so good. So good. It's a whole food, incredible beta carotene. So, if you're strict on keto, and you're eating a cauliflower pizza, that's got a lot of carbs in it too. I say just also you can stick with some of these wonderfully, natural earth gifts that we have, beets, sweet potatoes, and just put a little bit in your salad or a little bit as a side dish to a piece of wonderful fish or whatever other kinds of protein that you eat. All right, so roasting the vegetables, tossing them in olive oil, taking that kale, tossing it in olive oil, putting it on a pan and roasting it. Freezing it if you can't get to it, just freeze it. It's amazing. These vegetables freeze really well. You can freeze a whole beet, okay? It's kind of cool. All right, dears, take care. Here's your daily dose of ketosis, intermittent fasting, and take good care. All right, bye.